Hi and welcome everyone to another video on this channel. Today I'm gonna show you the best players to target for Double Gaming 26 of Fantasy Premier League, so make sure you stay here. Okay guys, so today I'm gonna show you the best players to target for Double Gaming 26 of Fantasy Premier League. Now I saw that you like my last video, so here we are on the same site as you can see, FPL.team. If you like to plan your strategies, if you want to see how your transfers are gonna affect your team in the future, I think that this site is the best one you can use and I definitely would recommend it. But now let's start with this video. So as you can see from the right bottom corner, here are the teams who are gonna double in Gaming 26. So we have 8 teams: Liverpool, Arsenal, Watford, Burnley, Wolverhampton, Crystal Palace, Spurs and Leeds. Obviously we don't need to target players from all of these teams, but in this video I'm gonna show you the best players you can pick from each team. So don't look at this team on the screen. I mean, I'm gonna change the players when we move from a team to another one. So let's start with the obvious one. So Liverpool and Arsenal have the best double game mix, right? Liverpool is gonna play against Norwich and Leeds. Both of these fixtures are gonna be at home, and also Arsenal is gonna play against Brentford and Wolverhampton. Now, depending on your strategy, on your chips left, on how your team is looking at the moment, you want to have obviously as many players from Arsenal and Liverpool as possible, right? So with Liverpool, I would recommend you to have 3 players from them because they are gonna play against Norwich and Leeds, as I said before. So I don't think that we're gonna get a better double gaming for any team this season. So having 3 Liverpool players is gonna be really essential. So if you don't already have Mohamed Salah or Trent Alexander-Arnold, I would definitely suggest you to buy him as fast as possible. So with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah, you don't need to worry too much about it because everybody's gonna own them. So realistically, the only question for this double gaming is who's gonna be your third Liverpool player, right? So for me, it's between Diogo Jota and Robertson. Obviously, if you have Jota, keep him. If you have Robertson, keep him. You don't need to sell Jota obviously to buy Robertson, but I think that Robertson is the best pick if you're gonna free it, if you want to wildcard. I think that I would go 100% with Robertson, and that's just because his minutes are gonna be limited. I think with Luis Diaz, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Firmino all back in the side, all are fit to play. So I think that Robertson is the way to go with Liverpool, but obviously I have Diogo Jota in my team and probably I'm just gonna keep him for the double, even if he's not gonna play both games 90 minutes. I think that Diogo Jota is still a really good asset and he's still really good value at that price, honestly. Okay, so enough with Liverpool. Realistically, these 4 players are the best option you can get from Liverpool. I mean, you can go for someone like Van Dijk, Matip, Sadio Mane if you want to go a little bit different, but honestly I just don't think that it's worth it to go anywhere near other players. So now about Arsenal, they are going to play against Brentford and Wolverhampton. What I need to say you about, if you don't know already about these teams, Liverpool and Arsenal are going to blank in Gaming 27. So depending on your team strategy, having 3 players from Arsenal and 3 players from Liverpool could be a good decision or a really bad decision, because if you don't want to free it in Gaming 27 and if you don't have a really good team who's gonna play in Gaming 27, then it doesn't really make sense to have 6 players from Arsenal and Liverpool, right? But if you want to free it in Gaming 27, personally that's what I'm gonna do. There is a high chance Arsenal are gonna double also in Gaming 28. So you're gonna have 3 players from Arsenal in Gaming 26 who are gonna double, then you're gonna free them out in Gaming 27, and in Gaming 28 you're gonna have another 3 players from Arsenal who are gonna double if the double gimmick is gonna be confirmed. Now we don't know if that's gonna be confirmed before Gaming 26 deadline, but still there is a probability that Arsenal and Chelsea are gonna double in Gaming 28. So about the players for Gaming 26, I prefer having double defense honestly than double attack, and why I'm saying that is because I think that Brentford at home and Wolverhampton at home, these fixtures are really good for defensive, for a clean sheet obviously. So Ramsdale is the best defender probably from Arsenal. He's really a bonus points magnet, so even if he's having just 1, 2 or 3 save points, he's still having bonus points. So that's why I think that Ramsdale is obviously the best goalkeeper for this gaming. And if I was to go for 3 players from Arsenal, and what I'm probably gonna do with my own team, I'm gonna have Ramsdale, Tierney and Bukayo Saka. Now if you have maybe someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, then it's easier for you maybe to go for someone like Lacazette, and I really like that. But if you don't have Ronaldo, I think that the way to go is Ramsdale, Tierney and Saka. Obviously if you don't have enough money, you can go for Ben White, and with Gabriel I think that he's more expensive than Tierney, so I don't think that Gabriel is worth all the money. But yeah, with the midfielders obviously Saka is the best one. Martinelli, unluckily he would be a really good option, but he's gonna miss the first game of the double gaming. And also with Smith Rowe, yeah, he's gonna play probably the first one, but you don't know if he's gonna play the second one. And also there is Odegaard, but I just think that Saka is the best one. He's the most nailed defender and he's looked really great. And with the attacker obviously the the only option is Lacazette. He's on penalties. He could be a really nice punt, and as I said before, if they're gonna have a double also in Game Week 28, having some Arsenal player could be really good for you. Okay, now let's go to the next team. As you can see, Watford, they are gonna play against Villa and Crystal Palace, so this is a decent gaming, but honestly, with the new manager of Watford, Roy Hodgson, I don't think that they are a really good attacking side worth targeting, and we know how bad they were in the recent weeks. So obviously, if you don't have any Watford players, I wouldn't recommend buying any of them, but obviously if you have them, if you have someone like Ben Foster, you can play him. He's gonna have a double, and yeah. Now, obviously, the options from Watford are Foster, King, and Dennis. Now, you can go maybe for someone like Ismail Assar if he's gonna be fit. But yeah, the thing is, as I said before, I wouldn't buy any Watford players, honestly. But if you have them already, someone like Foster, King, Dennis, I would suggest you to keep them. I know that they weren't great in the last weeks, but still, they're gonna have a double, so who knows, maybe they're gonna turn up. Now, the other team is Burnley. They're gonna play against Brighton and Spurs. The thing with Burnley is they are gonna have back-to-back double gaming, so they're gonna double in gaming 26 and also in gaming 27, and again, depending on your strategy, targeting some Burnley players could be a good decision or a bad decision. Now, if you're like me and you want to free it in gaming 27, it doesn't really make sense to target Burnley players for gaming 26 because you can have 3 Burnley players in gaming 27 on your free it, right? So it depends on your strategy, as I said before. But if you really want to target some Burnley players, maybe you don't want to use your free it in gaming 27. So if that's the case, I think that having Burnley players could be a decent option. I mean, you're gonna have 4 games in 2 game weeks, which is pretty decent. And the players I would target from Burnley are Weghorst, so the forward, Maxwell Cornet, and Nick Pope. And obviously, if you really want to go a little bit different, I mean, all these players are pretty much differential, but the only 4 players I would look to bring in my own team, if you want to, are Pope, Tarkowski, Cornet, and Weghorst. Now, realistically, Pope is a really nice goalkeeper. We know that he's having some save points sometimes, and he have some potential for a clean sheet, although the features are not great, Brighton and Tottenham, but I can see at least 1 clean sheet for Nick Pope. Now with Tarkowski, you're gonna get a little bit of goal threat if you want to from set pieces, but realistically the best options from Burnley are Maxwell Cornet and Weghorst. Now we need to see if Weghorst is gonna be fit, we need to see the press conference, but these are the players I would target from Burnley. And if I was to pick just one, probably I would go for Weghorst, just because in midfield I really like Cornet. He's on set pieces, he's on free kicks, but the thing is we have so many good midfielders at the moment, and I just don't think, I think that there are better options than Maxwell Cornet. Now the next team on the list is Wolverhampton, so let's put here Kilman. Obviously Jose Sa could be an option if you really want to have a goalkeeper, but I think that the best goalkeeper for this game is Ramsdale. So if you really want to sell to make a goalkeeper transfer, probably you have De Gea. I would suggest you to just buy Ramsdale and maybe buy another player from Wolverhampton. So obviously you can go for Cody, but the thing is Cody is just 0.1 more expensive than Kilman, and I think that I would go for Kilman if that's the case. Now if you want to spend a little bit more on Wolverhampton defense and you also want some attacking threat, I would go for someone like Semedo instead of Cody or Kilman. But honestly, mostly for what we have Wolverhampton defenders is for the clean sheet, right? So the thing is, this fixture, Leicester and Arsenal are not great. I mean, I can see 1 clean sheet for Wolverhampton, and the thing is Wolverhampton are one of the best defenses in the Premier League at the moment, so I can see a clean sheet, but honestly it's not that possible, I think. And also the fixtures are great long term, that's the good thing with Wolverhampton, and also they have a fixture I think in gaming 30, so you don't need to free it in gaming 30 if you don't want to. And also in midfield I wouldn't go for any Wolverhampton midfielder, but in attack obviously the only option is Raul Jimenez. I think that he's a decent option. He's not that expensive, but again, Leicester and Arsenal, against Arsenal is going to be really tough from an attacking perspective. Against Leicester maybe a little bit better, because Leicester are not defending really great at the moment. But yeah, this double gaming is not amazing, but at least they're going to have a fixture in gaming 30, and the fixtures long term are pretty decent. Now the next team is Crystal Palace, and realistically there aren't many players I would target from Crystal Palace, because Gallagher would be an amazing pick, but he's not gonna play against Chelsea because he can't. So the only players I would go for are, as you can see from the screen, so Guehi, if you want a defender, I mean, could be a nice option. He's pretty cheap. And also in attack I would go for Eduard, but as I said before in my other videos, I was expecting Eduard to be rotated with someone else when Zaha was back, when Benteke is gonna be back. So Eduard is a risk, and I don't think that I would go for him. But if you still want the differential, the fixtures are pretty decent after and before the double gaming. So the only player I would go for if I really want to, it would be Wilfried Zaha, because he's on penalties. I know that he just missed a penalty, so he was a little bit unlucky, but I think that he's the best option from Crystal Palace at the moment. I think that he's almost the same price as Eduard, and I would take Zaha instead of Eduard. And realistically, there aren't any other players from Palace I would target, because I think that there are better options at other teams. So the last two teams are Spurs and Leeds. Now let's talk a little bit about Leeds, because it's gonna be really easy. So the only player I would target from Leeds is Rafinha. Okay, so I have Rafinha already in my team. I didn't know that. So he's gonna play against United and Liverpool. I know that the fixtures are not great. I know that he was subbed off at halftime, so he's not injured, I think, but obviously we need to see the press conference. So he's gonna play against Man United and Liverpool. The fixtures are not great. I mean, against Man United it could be okay, and also against Liverpool we know that they are not really keeping clean sheets every game, right? So Rafinha is just that kind of player who can score against anyone, and I think that Rafinha is a really good option to have till the end of the season. So that's why he would be the only players from Leeds I would target. I mean, you can go for someone like Daniel James if you really want to go different, but I wouldn't do that. And the last team is Spurs. Now with Spurs is pretty forward. It's Harry Kane, obviously, Mohamed Salah, Heung-min Son, sorry. So yeah, Son, Kane, and in defense you can go for Lloris, but honestly I wouldn't go for him because there are better goalkeepers. And in defense I wouldn't go for Reguilon if you want to, because he's gonna be rotated probably. So maybe Reguilon is gonna play against Man City and he's gonna be rested against Burnley, and you don't really want to take that risk, right? So the only players I would go for are Davies, Son, and Harry Kane. Now between Son and Kane is the question, because probably you don't want to have both. If you have someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe it's easy for you to go for Harry Kane. If you have Bruno Fernandes and you already own Mohamed Salah, then it's easy for you to go for Heung-min Son. Personally, I think that if you want to captain one in the future, I think that Kane is the best captaincy option from Spurs. But honestly, at the moment, I just think that Son maybe is better value at that price. He's much more cheaper. He plays as a striker. So yeah, I would go for Son probably at the moment. But the thing is, they are going to play against City, so it's going to be pretty tough. And the other game is against Burnley. So this double game week is not ideal, but is decent. One really tough fixture and one pretty decent fixture, but we know that Burnley sometimes can defend really good. We just saw Liverpool beat Burnley just 1-0, so yeah, they can defend in their day. So these are the players I would target for Game Week 26. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribe to this channel if you're new around here. It would be really helpful for me and I really appreciate it. And also please let me know about your opinions in the comments down below. See you next time.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.